Hello, fellow old schoolers. Well, try as I might, I couldn't get the final videos to work from South Africa. So yeah, they were all scrambled up when the people down there tried to upload them to me. So we got a few games shown with the candle flare deck. But with these next recordings, I'm back in Denmark, and I've actually traveled to the high mountain here, which is a city about 1.5 hours drive from where I live. And here I'm up against a new player called Michael Bonde, and he's a very experienced guy, it seems, having played a lot of Magic in a lot of different formats, and is also writing articles, and I've linked some of his articles below. This is my first time meeting and playing with him, but this should be rather interesting. He has an archetype I haven't tried before. It's called, I've dubbed it Pesti-trolls, and it's sort of like a disco troll setup, black and red, but instead of the minerals disc, it uses pestilence and a bunch of regenerating creatures. So it uses the pestilence to burn the opposing player, and following up with red burn as well, and also uses the pestilence as removal against opposing creatures, and then his trolls and whatnot can get in. Should be interesting. And I'm back on the Composition A deck here, which is a mono black setup, but with splashes of all colors except green. So we have the blue power in there, we have the white removal, we have a Serendipity Freed as well. I think I'm playing with 1 at the moment, but it could be up to 2, I suppose. But at the moment it's only 1. And we also have red for burn and Wheel of Fortune. In essence, it's like a mid-range setup, but with combo dreams on the side. So it's sort of a hybrid deck, I suppose. So without further ado, let's get into it. So Michael is on the left here, starting out with a Mox Sol Ring and a Factory. And we have the trusty Library of Alexandria turn 1, but he removes it immediately, and then I can't draw from it. I think I've mulliganed down to 6. So he's gotten a couple of attacks in with that Factory for 4 damage, and now we get the Ancestral Recall. And here's an answer, removing the Factory with an Evil Sinkhole. And we're just taking turns destroying each other's mana at this point as he Stone Rinse the Badlands. I really need that double black mana in order to make anything function here, but at least we have a Serendipity Freed at this point, putting it out. And he has a Troll, so I'm actually behind here, but I can at least block the Troll. But I choose not to. Okay, we attack with the Serendipity Freed, even though you can counterattack with that Troll. And then trying to remove his red mana sources here with the Strip Mine. And we have a City of Brass, so at least we have the ways of removing the Troll, and here we see it with the Swords to Plowshares. So now the Composition A deck is on the offensive here, but I've taken a bunch of damage early on in this game, so I need to finish this quickly. Putting out a Hypnotic Spectre, and he chooses not to burn it away. He just starts shooting my dice here, trying to burn me out before I can kill him. So it's all about a race at this point. I have to kill him with the creatures before he draws enough burn to kill me outright. And here he removes my Underground Sea. He elects to let me keep my City of Brass because my life is so precious at this point. Life points are so precious. So he won't mind me using the City of Brass here. Getting in again. He's at 2 life at this point. Here's a draw, and there's a City of Brass. At least I had that Swords to Plowshare in hand, just in case I would get burned out. I could then Swords to Plowshare the Serendipity Freed. But this Composition A deck takes the first round. This is match number 2 of this set of 3 games. We had a couple of games I've not included. One where Michael won on a very early Blood Moon. He plays with Blood Moons in that deck, and it wasn't very exciting. And another where I won by using all kinds of very, very lucky draws early on. So we're starting out here. I believe there was a Time Walk and a Mox, and I'm actually a bit mana screwed. And then he strip mines my only land. I didn't make my second land drop here. And I pass the turn, and then he gets out of Factory and immediately into a Demonic Tutor. But at least we got a scrub land in hand. So he passes the turn. And knowing that I probably have to discard the next turn, I'm opting to Mind Twist him for 1 here. Perhaps I'd get the card he tutored for. And I'm lucky getting a City of Brass. So at least there's 2 black mana sources now. And he has that Troll and a Factory. And we remove the Troll and take some damage from that Factory there. And in my turn I sinkhole one of his Factories. And he had pumped it for 1 with the other Factory, so I've actually taken 3 points of damage, and now he comes out with the final remaining Factory for a second swing. So I suppose we better get some creatures out here. It can at least serve as a blocker if it survives. Okay, and he puts out the Pestilence. And with those 2 Factories as untouchable backup, they can get in without getting hit by the Pestilence. So we need more blockers. This is dangerous, using the City of Brass like this and putting out Jusums. But we need something to hold him back, and he can't easily remove that Jusum Djinn. So he puts out a Troll, this in order to, I suppose, block the Jusum Djinn. And I'm just slowly dying at this point, being at 9 life. This is very dangerous. But removing the Troll, he's at 23 life now, so now we can get in with the Jusum. And just opt to attack with everything here. I'm not sure if that's the correct play, but he would probably have removed the Spectre anyway. So we have to put out another Spectre. I'm not sure about that play either. I'm taking more damage from the City of Brass again. I'm at 6 life here. I'm doing this in order to block the Factories, but he can just remove it again with the Pestilence, as he does here. Damaging everything for 2 points of damage. And then coming over with one of the Factories, and I can't block with the Spectre as I try here because it's been removed by the Pestilence. So I'm at 1 point of life, and that's game. Immediately after he gets his untapped phase, he'll just use that Pestilence to destroy me. So this is the 3rd match of this set, being a 1-1 at the moment. It's pretty interesting to try a new version of a Troll deck like this. It's way more aggressive than Disco Trolls because it does so much damage with that with those Pestilence, and he has a lot of burn in there as well. But I feel like he probably lacks a bit of removal abilities. He'll have trouble with removing enchantments, for example. So I suppose I better get some Undual Dreams out here. Okay, he has a Lotus. Not a bad start. And this is after sideboard, mind you. So the last 2 games have been without sideboard. Well, have been with sideboard. He puts on an Ivory Tower. I believe that's one of the cards he has sideboarded in. And it makes sense. He requires some life in order to survive his own Pestilence. Oh, we put out a Jusum Djinn, making sure not to take any unnecessary damage from the City of Brass. Okay, so okay, so that's another sideboard card. He cracks the Lotus and puts out a city in a bottle, destroying a city of brass and the Juice of Gin in one drop, and I can't put anything out here, any Arabian Nights out. And then he Mind Twist for the final mana. And he gets the Sinkia Vampire, I think, and that was too bad because it was actually one of the only big creatures that are not in my deck that are not affected by that city in a bottle. And I don't have any white mana at the moment, so it's difficult to remove that city of brass, that city in a bottle. And every turn he accumulates life with that Ivory Tower. And I'm not sure if I should crack his mountain here. Perhaps I should, but I don't have any specters to put out at the moment. I don't know if he's in mana trouble or if he's just accumulating cards in order to get more life. But he bolts me when I destroy it, so it becomes apparent that he might be in mana trouble. So he draws a swamp here. And I noticed that it was his draw, so he's probably mana screwed, but it's not a bad situation for him because the City of Brass, City in a Bottle holds me back, and that Ivory Tower will just net him life. So the longer this game takes, the larger his advantage becomes. So we use the Lotus for a Wheel of Fortune. I have a full hand here, but I need to make something happen. Time is not on my side. Using the Sol Ring for the 2 colorless mana, so I still have 2 red mana in the pool. And notice that there's actually only blue and black mana here. So we put out a Spectre and then Time Walks. Now we can get in. This is important because not only will it damage him and take cards from his hand, but he'll also gain less life from that Ivory Tower. So putting out a Untold Dreams and then straight into a Demonic Tutor. It's a very, very good start here. I remember the other hand had mostly white and red cards when I wheeled, and all the mana I have is blue and black for some reason. It's a very weird situation here. So he's at 29 life at this point. And then he fireballs the factory, but we'll have none of it. I'm blue blasting that fireball. That Spectre is important here. Okay. So getting out another Underworld Dreams. Need to make the pain go, put some pain on him. And then a Time Twister. I tutored for that Time Twister as I had the second Underworld Dreams in hand. I remember that. And we just need to put a lot of damage on him at this point. And we do. This is 14 points of damage right there, just from the dreams. And I'm holding off with the attack here because until after the Twister, because I want to remove one of the new cards. And it's a wheel, probably the most useless cards to pick at this point. Because he will never wheel with 2 dreams out. Oh yeah, he reminds me that I can't play that Library of Alexandria as I just used to activate the factory. So I played the 4th Underground Sea instead. So a lot of blue and black mana here. It's so weird. But notice how much damage we're doing here. He's at 11 points of life. He was at almost, I think it was at 29 just a turn ago. So he's at 7 life now. I'm just picking his hand apart. He needs to make something happen here. He's at 5 life, and he's at the dilemma that the more cards he plays, the less life he'll gain from that Ivory Tower. And those Underworld Dreams will kill him fast if he doesn't have the Ivory Tower activate, give him life. So that's 4 points of damage there. And he elects to use the Pestilence in order to remove it instead of taking the damage. That makes sense. But I have a second wave of Spectres coming out here, and he can't afford to do it anymore. So the factory died as well from that Pestilence usage. Could be a mistake to attack with both, but doesn't matter. So he gets a Chaos Orb and electing to remove the Spectre. I'm trying to teach him here how to do it. And he's a fast learner, so that's one dead spectre right there. Immediately we had the deal that even if he missed it, it would be dead. Because, yeah, it's just a better way to play when he's new in the game. So I have a disenchant, finally draw Scrubland, and I'm now able to disenchant the Ivory Tower, finally being locked out of red and white mana for the entire game. What a weird setup, or situation to be in. I had the disc, but there was no use, no point in using it, as those Underworld Dreams would slowly kill him, and without the Ivory Tower, he would be dead in his draw step. I think his deck is very aggressive, and it shows promise. I've never seen such an archetype before, but the Underworld Dreams really shows the weakness compared to the Disc Control deck. So I suppose there was some trouble for him there, because he can't remove them, and when he uses that Pestilence, it also damages him. So he won't be able to use the Pestilence forever, especially when he's on the defensive like this against another aggressive deck like mine. So I believe that once his deck sets its teeth in, it will be able to make a kill pretty fast with those Pestilence and creatures. But it's when he's on the back foot, he struggles, because he can't remove my creatures without damaging himself further. Anyway, this was the first set of games against the Pesti-trolls deck. I'm sure we'll get others on the channel later on. Up next is a few games against Jacob's blue and green toolbox deck. Jacob was there this evening as well, and I've played him before. Last time I remember I lost to Mana Drain into Amnesia and Mahamoti Gens. So let's see if we can make a comeback here, or if he just will solidify his victories here. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.